Well, I've had a request or two asking for a review on this bike. This is a 97 Kawasaki Vulcan 1500. Well, overall, it's a good bike. You can find them cheap. There are a couple of things you need to be aware of. I'll get to that in a minute. It's really a power horse. There's a lot of torque. Got no issues with power performance. Just overall, it's a well-designed bike. This one has 40,000 miles on it. It's 43,000 actually. Um, um, it's got its little quirks, but I love the bike. The shifter here, I actually had to replace. It broke on me about 3 weeks after I bought the bike. I ended up welding it, or I found somebody who welded it for me, and it held for about 6 months. And about a month ago, it broke again, and I just went ahead and ordered a new one. So that's leads me to one little quirk of these bikes. Second gear. Typically, they grind going into second gear, but it can be resolved by tearing into it and rebuilding that in the gearbox. The bike itself is pretty dirty. We've had 3 straight days of rain, and I'm not complaining. This is Texas in July, and the temperature's been in the 80s for the past 3 days, so I'm not complaining. I do ride pretty much rain, shine, everything but snow and ice. So the bike's kind of dirty now, but that's okay. It's not a beauty queen. I ride it to work. It takes me where I need to go. Does the job. I put these Kawasaki grips on it. Had a little issue with numbness, especially my left hand falling asleep. And I was hoping that would solve the problem, but it really didn't. But I don't regret it. They are more comfortable than stock grips. A little pricey, but worth the money. Very comfortable, and they look good too. I like to use a GoPro camera pretty much almost every ride. This is a mount. This is actually what you can clearly see. It's on the headlight. It's kind of shaky there. It's not a very stable clear picture, so I don't use that much, but until I put a hair dryer to it or a heat gun, they're not going to come up by themselves. What I've done recently is use a suction mount, and you can see right there where the suction mount was placed. Sometimes I'll put it there, but the view is obstructed by that bar, and I'll put it off to the side. It seems to work better. I've actually put it right here on the side cover, and it actually is pretty cool perspective. But unfortunately, the most that you see is the back of my leg. Or you can mount them on these bars here, the clamps. The clamps will hold up, for general use. But if you use them every day, like I was using, then they'll break. And I've broken 2 of them. So I'll just use the section cup, and that's fine. Or I use the chest mount strap. I just like to use the camera, just for in case something happens, it'll be captured. Tires, I just put new tires and brake pads on this thing. I spent some money. I put some Michelin Commander 2 tires on it. They're a little pricey, but on a motorcycle, those tires are the only thing between you and the road. Well, like on a car, but you only got 2 tires, and I didn't want to skimp there. This here was cracked when I bought it, and I just noticed just a few days ago this thing was finally broke. So, oh well, it'll stay like that until I get around to replacing the lens. Not a big deal. It's not a beauty queen, like I said. It's my work bike. I take it to work. It takes me to work. These bags I bought on Craigslist for $60. They're nice saddle bags. They're throwovers, but I took the yoke off and I hard mounted them. You see right there. I just bolted them right to the saddlebag supports because these already had a stiff plastic backing. So it was good to go. This is another little funky thing that I did. I just did that like 2 days ago. It was broken before I got it, and somebody had repaired it. Basically, just kind of had it rigged up to where it wasn't going anywhere. The other day, I noticed it was dangling. Not I put a zip tie on it, and well, that just kind of slipped down. So, in a pinch, I just grabbed some electrical tape and I wrapped it up, and it's holding. What can you say? It works. Say it again. This bike is not a garage queen. It's not a rat bike either, but I do what I can. Just a poor working guy trying to hold it together. Anyway, the shocks. I love the shocks on this thing. It's got dual rear shocks. They're adjustable. I think there's 5 settings. You can put them on. The lowest setting is a very soft, cushy ride, or if you want to stiffen it up, or if you're riding 2 up, or if you got a lot of weight on it, you can put it up a notch or 3 to stiffen up the ride. Just adjust it to your liking. Make sure you adjust them both. Put them both on the same setting. That's very important. You see, it's not a perfect bike. It's got some blemishes here, a little touch-up paint there. This seat right here, I just fixed this. The seam was coming apart, and I no sooner repair that. It was coming apart actually, like my jacket is here. But anyway, I no sooner repair that. I didn't do too bad of a job, if I do say so myself. And then what do I notice? I just saw this morning. That the bike's left out. I don't. It's not kept in the garage. I park it on the street. Some bungee cords. It's always important to keep some bungee cords. You never know what you're going to. You're going to have to carry something home. Got a nice large bungee strap. Kind of covers the entire seat area. It's kind of like a bungee net is what it is. Got that in my tour pack, which isn't on the bike now, but I'll strap it to the sissy bar. And also the notorious POG, the plastic oil gear. As far as I know, this bike still has it. So, it could go forever and never give a moment's problem, but then it could break tomorrow. So, if it breaks, then pretty much you lost all oil pressure, and if it's not caught immediately, then you stand a good chance of ruining the engine. So, cross my fingers. That's just one thing to be aware of on these bikes. It is repairable. There is a fix. Either you can replace it, or there's something called Judge's oil gear, and it's just kind of a modification. And just do a Google search for Judge's oil gear to find out more information about that. That's how you can modify it and fix it without actually tearing into the engine. But that's another story. These little graphics on the side, they actually came off of a scooter, an old Chinese scooter that, well, not an old, I bought a new Chinese scooter. That was my first two-wheeler, so to speak. That's what I learned to ride on. I still had those stickers, and happened to find them one day, and I was going to throw them out, and I thought, well, let's see how it looks on my bike. Worst case scenario is I won't like it, and I'll take them off and throw them away, but I think it looks pretty sharp, so there they are. The thing I did was these turn signals, these little LED indicators. One problem with the tank mounted instrument cluster, when you're wearing a full face helmet like I do, you have to tilt your head down and look down at the gauge, well, check your speed, but also just to check and see if your turn signal's on, or if you left it on. With these little indicators here, they're right in my field of view, and I just wired it right into the turn signal wiring, and there you go. Took about 10 minutes on each side, ran it up the windshield, and we're good to go. It works. It was a cheap little convenience for me. And another little convenience I added was this 12 volt socket, 12 volt plug. Um, just gives me 12-volt power to charge a cell phone or what have you. Or even, I got a little portable air compressor. I can, air up the tires if I have to. Very convenient. Anyway, just a good overall bike. Like I said, this bike is not perfect. If I wanted a perfect bike, I would have had to buy a new bike. My overall thought of the 1500 Classic, wonderful bike. Absolutely wonderful bike. You got those two issues, the second gear and the plastic oil gear. Those are really the two major concerns. Again, this is an older carbureted bike. A fuel injected bike would be better. I would prefer to have a fuel injected bike, but I don't. So you would be better off with fuel injection. Unless you're old school tinkerer. You want to mess with the carburetors. That's fine. Nothing wrong with a carbureted bike. Just fuel injected bikes just tend to be a little more trouble free. Tend to start a little quicker. Speaking of starting, let's start this thing up so you can hear it. So neutral.